Welcome to the Bank First Ranger Hour. Super Talk Mississippi 93.7 Spotlight on Northwest Community College. And you can listen to our live stream at supertalknorthms.com. Just click on the link for the Bank First Ranger Hour. Now, here's your host, Gary Darby.
Thursday, February 27, and it is time to do a Bank First Ranger Hour. Thanks for being around. So now at 9:07, let's get this thing started. And let me tell you what we have in store for you on the program today. Medicine. And with that, what I mean is, both guests are in that world. And we'll start with one of the honorees in the upcoming Northwest Soirée, which will be on the 29th of March. Over these next few programs, we're going to highlight those award winners and honorees. And we're going to start with Dr. Robert Barnes. He's the first. And we'll get with Dr. Barnes. We'll find out a lot about him. We'll set you up with that. And then when we're done, the nursing program has been a long mainstay of what Northwest Community College is. And we'll have Lesley Thweatt on to talk with us about that. We've got deadlines coming up, application times, things we need to get to, maybe some scholarship discussion, a little bit of all of that coming up into the show today. And so we will have that for you. Dr. Robert Barnes is first, and then Lesley Thweatt is next. And so we'll have all that coming up for you on today's Bank First Ranger Hour. How are we doing today? Hopefully good. We're talking a lot of, Northwest Community College stuff and events and things that you can go to. A couple of weeks off for the Heindel Center, but we'll tell you what's going to be going on there. And there are sporting events and things that you can go take part in as well. And we'll give you all that information at the back end of the program when we tell you a little bit about the sporting events that are on campus or what's coming up. And Heindel Center, there's March 17 before the Mean Girls musical shows up, and we have other things that we'll get into there. So the Northwest Soirée, it's going to be at the Heindel Center on March 29, as I said. And Chapel Hart's going to be there. There'll be the entertainment for this, as we're just a little over a month away from what is the community college's foundation and the big money-raising event. They're calling it Masquerade Among the Stars. So you're invited to go and dress up, do all that fun stuff. Then not only do you hear, Chapel Hart, you get to see the award winners, but you're giving and helping prospective students to attend Northwest Community College and get that education going. There will be an open online auction to keep an eye out for. What you need to do if you're a person of Northwest or you are wanting to help out in any way with Northwest Community College, they've got a Northwest Foundation Facebook page with items that you don't have to be at the soiree. If you bid and you win, tickets are available. There's a premium ticket and a standard ticket. The premium ticket gives you the social hour, the awards ceremony, formal attire at 6 o'clock on the 29th. And the standard ticket is for the performance only at 8:30. And so to do that, it's heindelcenter.org. heindelcenter.org. Or if you want to know more about the soiree, you can read this news item or more at northwestms.edu. And so there's several ways for you to figure out what is going on, who they're honoring, and all that will go on with that. And we will get our first of the nominees here on the program today in Dr. Barnes. And we will find out a little bit more about him coming up here very soon. But Dr. Barnes will be honored at the soiree. And so we'll tell you a little bit about him. We'll let him tell you a little bit about himself and more when we get this right after the break. So Dr. Barnes and then Lesley Thweatt will be talking to us about the nursing school after that. And we're off and running. Another edition of the Bank First Ranger Hour. Hang on.
This hour is everything Northwest. Your connection to Northwest Mississippi Community College and powered by Bank First. Thanks for joining us on the Bank First Ranger Hour. Join the conversation now by texting 662-426-1093.
Bank First, so kind to still be involved and do the things that they do in a lot of different ways here at Super Talk 93.7, but it is the Bank First Ranger Hour. And today we're going to start our run of people that are going to be honored and a part of the Northwest Soirée that comes up on the 29th of March, the premier fundraising and community recognition event. It will be at the Heindel Center for the Performing Arts. We'll talk about Chapel Hart. We'll talk about other things and other people. But we're going to bring in first Dr. Robert Barnes with us. Doc, how are you today?
Doing great. How are you?
Doing well. Glad to get a chance to talk with you as you are being one of those that are honored along the way, and we will get into that Young Alumni Achievement Award. But if you don't mind, a little background, like where you grew up, if you're from this North Mississippi area, and then once you get through that, if you don't mind, why did you choose to get your start at Northwest Community College?
Absolutely. So again, I'm Dr. Robert Barnes. I'm an internal medicine doctor. I practice primary care. I'm originally from Coldwater, Mississippi, actually kind of right between Coldwater and Independence. Northwest was just down the road, and that's where I initially started my journey to become a doctor, and had an excellent experience there, great mentors, overall just a great preparation. Later I went to Delta State to finish my bachelor's degree, and then I went to University of Mississippi Medical Center in Jackson, graduated my medical school class 2018, and went to residency in Memphis, University of Tennessee Health Science Center, and residency for internal medicine, that is. And now I'm practicing in Batesville, doing primary care, and basically living a dream job. And yeah, I'm a father and a husband to a 10-month-old, and a husband now. And I'm just very honored to receive this award.
You get any sleep?
Oh, yeah, it's challenging at times, but you know, as some folks have said, it's the hardest job you'll ever love. I think that's a very true statement.
I lived in Luxahoma, so familiar with that whole Tate County area and things too, for a few years growing up, and then moved over into the Lafayette County world. So why internal medicine? Why did you choose that as your path of study?
Yeah, so there's a few different, or maybe a couple different routes to doing primary care. I think ultimately that was my goal, was to basically take care of patients in a clinic setting, help them manage their chronic illnesses, you know, whether it's heart disease, kidney disease, stuff like that, and of course all their screenings and preventative stuff. I really like that continuity of care is what we call it, when you sort of establish a relationship with the patients and follow them over time, and you see them through various life stages, really. I mean, if you have a very long relationship with them. Internal medicine is one of those routes to doing primary care. I think internal medicine is really special in that the training you get in residency is about 80% in the hospital. So, of course, I think every doctor to some degree is a little bit of a nerd. They love science, and seeing, even though it's a hard thing to do and go through, seeing disease states in the extremes of physiology and seeing how to manage those definitely develops a comfort level that you don't get maybe in a lot of other specialties. But But then translating that to primary care, it's really helped me bridge that gap. Like when I have a patient that is getting sicker, I'm a little bit more comfortable in managing that and know when it's time to move to that hospital setting.
Talking with Dr. Robert Barnes, the Young Alumni Achievement Award winner at Northwest. We're going to get into that award and things too. But I want to get this question to you. Living in the state of Mississippi, and we know the larger hospitals and the places and the cities that have them within this North Mississippi area and up and down the state. But can you address the importance of the work you're doing in Batesville? And we have smaller hospitals in Senatobia and in other areas, and what that means to the quality of life in this North Mississippi area?
Yeah, I mean, it's hugely important. It's a very underserved community. The rural community is. And, I usually tell my students a lot of primary care is really, honestly, some simple things executed well. Getting your cancer screenings, getting blood pressure managed, some things that you would otherwise not know are going on unless you actually see a provider. And in a lot of these places, they don't have access to that. I think one of the things that's an advantage for me that maybe a lot of doctors don't have is I'm actually I'm obviously from a rural area, Coldwater, and I feel like I'm able to communicate with patients and bridge that gap. I guess a way I've kind of described it is I'm sort of like a translator. I'm translating the medical jargon into stuff that my parents would be able to understand, for example, which is huge. And the second thing being that since I'm from here, there's a little bit of that common ground that we have. A lot of the things that are important to them are also important to me, and we connect through those things.
Dr. Barnes started at Northwest Community College, pre-med student, graduated with a 4.0, and earned membership into Phi Theta Kappa. I want to lead you into that discussion because as we were talking on the phone, and I talked to you, I know when Dr. Andrew Dale and others have been on this program, and we have mentioned Phi Theta Kappa and how important that has been to a lot of students. What was it like for you to be involved? Because I think you were also vice president during time as well.
That's correct. Yeah, I mean, Phi Theta Kappa was hugely important for me. It's sort of that first professional organization you get into, and as you go throughout your career, there's going to be more of those, and that was just the start for me, and it was an honor too, because it's great to get that recognition for the hard work, for that academic excellence that, maybe in high school you didn't get that very much, but the nice thing in college is when you do push yourself, you can earn membership into that. For me, it was crucial. I didn't, it was one of those that as far as the scholarship goes, I was able to go to Delta State essentially, all my tuition paid. So, that was paramount. I didn't have to incur a whole lot more debt in doing that.
Excellent. When you found the news that they were naming you the Young Alumni Professional Achievement Award winner, what went through your mind, and what does this award mean to you?
When I first found out, I was honestly surprised and incredibly honored. Northwest played such a huge role in shaping my journey, and to be recognized by the very place that helped set me on this path means a lot. It's humbling to think back to where I started and how far I've come, but I know I didn't do it alone. This award is as much a reflection of the mentors, instructors, and family who supported me as it is of my own efforts. I'm grateful for the recognition and even more motivated to just keep serving this community.
Well, we thank you for that. How long have you been there at the medical center in Batesville?
Coming up on 3 years now.
Yeah. When you see the things that, that center is doing and what's going on in North Mississippi, can you describe that? Because Batesville obviously is becoming a growing larger place as well, and what you hope to continue to do in that area.
Yeah, I mean, you face a huge challenge. I mean, from health literacy to different socioeconomic challenges that come up. It's sometimes a little bit of an uphill battle, but I think the overall goal is to increase access and give good quality care in those communities, and that's the vision, and I think that's what we're trying to do. And most of the time, I think we're doing that very well, and so we're just striving for that excellence.
Well, I appreciate 10 minutes of your time today. Congratulations on the award. Thanks for what you're doing in Batesville and in this North Mississippi area, and letting us know what Northwest and how Northwest help you get your start. Thanks, Doc.
Absolutely. Thank you.
We will return, and we're going to get into the School of Nursing next at Northwest, so hold on. More of the Bank First Ranger Hour next.
Thanks for listening to the Bank First Ranger Hour, your connection to Northwest Mississippi Community College on Super Talk Mississippi 93.7 and streaming live at supertalknorthms.com. Just click on the link for the Bank First Ranger Hour.
Thanks again to Dr. Robert Barnes, who joined us. He is the Young Alumni Achievement Award winner. And on the 29th of March, when the soiree happens, he and others will be honored. In fact, we're going to be talking to all of the honorees of the next couple of weeks on the program. So we got to meet Dr. Barnes there. Those of you in Batesville probably already know a little bit about him. It is the Bank First Ranger Hour. Let's move into something else in the medical field. We'll bring in Director in Associate Degree Nursing and more, I would assume. Lesley Thweatt is with us. How are we?
I'm good. Thank you, Mr. Darby, for having me on today.
You know, the first thing, and this is just going to be for me, right, that I noticed, it's Lesley, is that correct?
Yes, sir.
How did you get the different spelling? What, you are a special Lesley is what I'm coming up with here.
Yes, I remember this being a common thing that came up when I was in grade school, and I frequently asked my mother, why did you spell my name differently? And she just wanted me to be different.
Well, there you go. All right. Yes. Did the teacher ever correct you? This is not how this is spelled.
Oh, I'm sure.
All right. Enough of that. We've got business to get to, and that business is in the nursing world. What and how have things been going in your department at Northwest?
Yes, sir. They have been going very well. We have great faculty, great students. They are actively learning in the classroom, in the lab, skills labs, the simulation, getting ready to start their clinical experiences after spring break. And as you know, we have students on both the Senatobia and the DeSoto campuses doing the nursing program, so they're doing quite well.
When I was talking with Dr. Barnes, he grew up in Tate County. He has stayed local, trying to help in rural Mississippi and doing the things in the medical field. Are we able to retain Mississippians that are coming through your nursing program? Are the jobs still out there is, I guess, the question I'm coming up with?
Yes, sir. Definitely there are still jobs available for nurses. I think the biggest thing I would put out, and I would tell our current students now, is just be flexible and be available. You may have to take a night shift in the beginning, but, one day you might get that day shift, or you may want to just stay on nights, when you consider the hospital setting. But jobs are readily available. Yes, sir.
Excellent. All right, Lesley, we've got an application deadline to get to. Fill us in, please.
Yes, so application deadlines for this prospective student cohort will be March the 1st. That is very quick. Mm-hmm. So make sure if prospective students, they review our information. It's lined out very well on our Associate Degree in Nursing Program website. It goes over the requirements as well as prerequisite information that they need to complete before applying to the program. Obviously, they need an application to the college itself, and then once they meet the prerequisite requirements, they would apply to the program. We will begin reviewing those applications. We actually already started reviewing applications, and then letters of acceptance will go out April the 1st. So definitely want to, if you're wanting to get into the nursing program for the fall for consideration, you'll want to get your application in by March the 1st. And just another note, so we have two options for the nursing program for this time period. It's the traditional program. That's the 2-year program, and students can choose if they want to come to the Senatobia campus or the DeSoto campus. And then another unique offering we have is for our LPN students that want to do the bridge, LPN to RN transition track, and they actually would start this summer and then move into the program.
When we talk about these cohorts, and I guess it would be determined by, is it Senatobia campus, DeSoto campus, or what program that you just mentioned, do we know numbers, like about how many each year are coming through this nursing department at Northwest?
So that is a really good question. It does vary it's variable considering different factors. We look at our current student numbers. It's not easy to give an exact number, but, ideally we would love, 80 to 90 students in each class. But it can be anywhere from 40 to 60 or 80 is a good number. But again, that just depends on admission criteria. Do they meet those requirements? Making sure they meet those requirements, and having the faculty in place to meet that need as well.
All right, so we need the applications in by the 1st of March. What about scholarship possibilities?
Yes, so right now, Northwest scholarships, the application is open for that. It is open till April the 1st. Students can go to northwestms.edu and click on financial aid scholarships. And basically, I just encourage students to apply for that. You never know if you're going to meet criteria, but it pairs you up with different scholarships that you could benefit from. And those are awarded later in the semester, in the fall. But yes, those are still available to be applied for. Deadline for that is April the 1st. So lots of exciting events and opportunities at Northwest.
That sounds great. If you will, before I let you go, tell the people again where we need to look. Deadline for, again, applications, scholarships. We get the pertinent information out before we're done.
Yes. So March 1st is the deadline for nursing program applications, the RN program. Scholarship deadline, April the 1st. All this information can be found on northwestms.edu.
Thank you, Lesley, with an EY.
That's right. Thank you.
All right. I'm glad she let me joke with her a little bit and get that discussion in as well. Lesley Thweatt on with us, director in a School of Nursing, and giving us some information and deadlines and things. And maybe you know someone that's ready to enter that world, or maybe you know someone or maybe you yourself are ready to switch what you do as your particular employment is concerned. All those ways now at northwestms.edu. I'm on that website as well as others as I sit here and do this program with you, and you can go find out all the things about the programs, admissions, financial aid, news. Do all that you need to do there with northwestms.edu. And it's all right there for you with press releases and more. So athletics is going on. We'll finish our next few minutes here with you with that discussion and the things that are going on. Let's begin in the world that is tennis, in fact, because Northwest Tennis has gotten off to a good start. We have had coaches of all of these particular sports on, and we have talked about these teams, and now we can see that Monday afternoon in a trip actually where they played in Macomb against Southwest Mississippi, the men and women's tennis team win again. The women beating Southwest Mississippi 8-1, the men 5-4, and now both teams are 6-1 and a perfect 3-0 against Mississippi competition in the conference play, MACCC competition. The Rangers and Lady Ranger tennis will be in Senatobia tomorrow on the campus against Mississippi Gulf Coast at 10. So if you are interested in taking in a little bit of that, you can. Also, in the world of basketball, regular season coming to a close, as both will be in Summit on Monday finishing up the regular season. We'll, I think with the women, have to wait and see whether or not they actually can sneak into postseason play. The men have had a difficult season. The women at this point getting a win on senior night, or sophomore night, I should say, on Monday against Gulf Coast, where they won in overtime 77-68. Coach Laterrell Williams and company now 10-13 overall, but 6-7 in the conference, so an opportunity to get to 500 as far as conference play is concerned. And again, both teams will be in Summit finishing up the regular season on Monday, so we'll update you on that. Softball and Coach Bramlett off and running again. They've gotten themselves nationally ranked after opening up so far 11-1 on the season, including wins over Central Alabama, who was number 14, Marion Military Institute, who was number 16. They then got LSU Eunice, who was number 12, Parkland College, who was number 21. I think number 11 now is where the Ranger softball team resides. They are playing today on the Northwest campus. So, beautiful day. Going to be in the upper 60s. Great day to go watch some softball against Shawnee, the Shawnee Saints. They are 2 and 4 o'clock for Shawnee, and then next week trips to Gadsden, Alabama, Jackson, Tennessee for softball, who's won 4 in a row and now 11-1 overall. So it's Shawnee Community College, and they're making a trip to Senatobia for a little softball today at 2 and 4. So you can, check that out on the Northwest campus, if you will, and give some support there. And then you get baseball, where they played yesterday in Boonville, getting Itawamba and Northeast, splitting a pair of games, beating Itawamba and losing to the home team Northeast in a 11-9 high-scoring game. Coach Carson and company now 13-4. The loss to Northeast stopped what was a 9-game win streak for Northwest baseball. And now they'll play this weekend as they host SAU Tech. So Southern Arkansas coming in. The Rockets for a 1 and a 4 o'clock double dip tomorrow. And then before we get back on the program, they'll have a couple of games as well, with Coahoma and East Mississippi coming in a double dip to Senatobia on Tuesday, before eventually, after Freed-Hardman, they'll soon get into conference play, both baseball and softball, and it will get started in the middle of March. So we'll keep up with all of that and continue. But all of these sports and the things that we're talking about covered well by our friend Brian Lentz, who's on often, Brian Oakley as well, at NWCCRangers.com. No matter the sport, whatever it might be, you can find it at NWCCRangers.com. I know volleyball's got a little spring schedule coming up as well, and Coach Burchett and company has put out a spring exhibition schedule, which actually begins tomorrow, and that is on the website as well, NWCCRangers.com. So coming off of a year where they won the inaugural MACCC title, the spring schedule gets started, and it does so with Freed-Hardman University. First serve at 4:30, and then some April matches as well. So they'll be taking on several different teams, some at Howard Coliseum, and then they'll travel to Millsaps, play against a Division III opponent. They'll have other things going on through early April, and so if you want to keep up with volleyball as well, you can, and that is up and on the website as well at NWCCRangers.com. All of that is there for you. I encourage you, for whatever it might be, to check it out. We give you the websites a lot. All the social media sites are there as well. But if you're looking academically, it's northwestms.edu. If you're looking athletically, it's nwccrangers.com. And then if you're looking for entertainment, of course, we send you to the Heindel Center, HEINDL Center.com. Next up, Mean Girls the Musical. That's coming in on the 17th. Tickets available. Go online, find those. Then, as we mentioned, the end of March will give us Chapel Hart. And then the next musical act, which will make their way in, is late April, and the Commodores. Absolutely tremendous set of events and things coming up at the Heindel Center for the Performing Arts. You can go, you can buy tickets, whether they're individual or ticket packages. Still things you can do as the spring schedule continues through April and into May, where, you know, you'll get an evening with Priscilla Presley going on. You've got all kind of things going on, but the spring part of the schedule all the way into early May. And, of course, then soon we'll see what's coming up with the fall. And we'll be trying to get Blake Bosick to give us a heads up and let us know. I know he won't, but we'll have another great fall lineup coming up and announced very soon, I would imagine, as they constantly keep working and bringing great acts for us into Senatobia, the North Mississippi area, in a great facility. If you haven't been there yet, you haven't taken anything in, go check it out. Heindel Center for the Performing Arts. And another Bank First Ranger Hour kind of in the books here on a Thursday. Have yourself a good weekend, and we'll be back and do all this next week, where, again, Burkhart's will join us. We'll have some things in economic development we need to discuss. Another one of these Bank First Ranger Hours where we'll give you one of our award winners and honorees and things from the soiree, and then keep up with all that's going on in the world of sports and everything else that we do between 9 and 10 here on Super Talk 93.7. It's 9:55. Gerard and Middays comes up next. So long.